What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we're recapping the Philadelphia Eagles sweeping the Washington Redskins for the 2017 season, and in which they win this game 34-24. The score seems closer than it was. At halftime it was 17-10, and it was a pretty tight, contested game. Both quarterbacks pretty much had a good day, but did struggle in some areas. Carson Wentz threw a complete duck. I don't know, I forgot which receivers he was looking for down the middle of the field, but it was nowhere near that receiver. I think it was Nelson Aguilar, nowhere near that receiver, and it was intercepted by Quentin Dunbar. And, Carson Wentz didn't have the best day he had in the first half, but later on it was all Eagles the whole time. The Redskins had a little spark afterwards, hitting Jordan Reed for a touchdown, making it a closer game than it was, 24-17, and then Carson Wentz almost got sacked. Mason Foster, Ryan Kerrigan, all these guys were there, and he breaks out of a sack in which he's domed in by all of these Washington Redskins defenders and escapes for how. I don't even know how that happened. I looked down, I saw Carson Wentz about to get sacked. I looked down at my phone, and then I hear Donahue, whatever his name is, the commentator, is talking about Carson Wentz is running. I'm like, what is going on right now? Carson Wentz had a phenomenal game. Like John Gruden said, he's gonna definitely be NFC Player of the Week this week. I mean, what efficient game from Carson Wentz, and we will get onto the stats in just a few. And we look at the Washington Redskins. They held out in the first half of this game for the most part with that depleted defense, and again, both on the offense and the defense, the Washington Redskins are hit with the injury bug. I mean, it's very sad to see. Brennan Scherf went out in this game in the second half, and he looks like he really messed up his knee, as Brandon Graham runs right into his knee. We also have some injuries on the Philadelphia Eagles, and it's a big hit for them. Jason Peters went down. Big V, I don't know his first name, Vitali or whatever his name. I don't know his last name. They call him Big V in Philadelphia, so I'm going to say Big V. I have a hard time pronouncing his name. But he came in for left tackle, didn't do very well. Had a holding call on him as soon as he was brought in at left tackle, and that's a big hit for the Philadelphia Eagles because they already struggle with that offensive line, and Jason Peters was that lone spot where they didn't need to worry, but now that he could potentially miss some time, this could be a problem. And we may see Lane Johnson potentially go to left tackle because you don't want to put Big V at left tackle, and Lane Johnson is an exceptional tackle in the NFL, and they may move him there. But going to the Redskins, they were hit with the injury bug, and they held out as much as they can, made it a close game as they can, 17-10 at halftime, and then Carson Wentz just came out. They had a game plan, and they attacked this secondary. Carson Wentz was on the money with almost every single one of his throws, and, I mean, he could not be stopped. He scrambled the pocket. They weren't able to get to him, and he just could not be stopped in this game. So let's get on to the stats. We've got the we'll start off with the passers, the Washington Redskins. Kirk Cousins, 30 of 40, 303 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Now, the Washington Redskins didn't look very good at the second half of this game, but don't get me wrong, Kirk Cousins still looked good in this game. He was still making throws, still trying to make plays, and he did so. Him and Carson Wentz had a very good battle in this game. He was sacked 4 times for 34 yards. He himself had a 110 quarterback rating, so not a bad day from Kirk Cousins. That lone interception he threw was basically in garbage time. Corey Grant picks it off as he was getting pressured there. So Carson Wentz, 17 of 25, 268 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. Sacked 3 times for 24 yards, had a quarterback rating of 126.3. So we move on to the running game for both these teams. We start off with the Washington Redskins. They couldn't get anything going on the ground. Kirk Cousins had 18 yards for himself, got a first down where he needed to. That one play, if you guys know what I'm talking about, that one play where he scrambled for a first down and got hit by Malcolm Jenkins. Malcolm Jenkins held up that fourth down, and I believe he was correct. I don't think that was a first down, but they marked it as a first down anyway. But I think he was short on that play. Chris Thompson leads the way for the Washington Redskins. 7 carries, 38 yards, 5.4 yards per carry. That came in garbage time, so don't mind that. Rob Kelly barely used. 7 carries for 16 yards, barely did anything, 2.3 yards per carry. Jamison Crowder, 1 carry for 3 yards. We go on to the Philadelphia Eagles, and once again, Carson Wentz is the leading rusher for that team, for this Philadelphia team, and that just shows his greatness. I mean, he's great. I mean, he's primarily looked at as a pocket passer. He's not that guy that's just going to roll out the pocket and run all the time. They want to use him more as a pocket passer, but just like Aaron Rodgers, when he needs to use his legs, he will use his legs. And Carson Wentz is great at doing that, at extending plays. And whenever none of his reads are there, instead of throwing the ball away, he goes ahead and gains some extra yards. He had 8 carries for 63 yards, 7.9 yards per carry. LeGarrette Blount had 14 carries, 29 yards. So the Washington Redskins did a good job bottling up LeGarrette Blount. Wendell Smallwood, 8 carries for 25 yards. So both these teams didn't do a spectacular day running on the ground. Yes, Philadelphia had over 120 yards on the ground, 127, but most of that was due because of Carson Wentz. He was that running game for this Philadelphia team. We go on to the receiving game for both these teams. We have Vernon Davis leading the way for the Washington Redskins. 4 receptions, 67 yards. He had a pretty decent day. He's old man wonder Vernon Davis back at it, and he had a great 31-yard gain. Unfortunately, they weren't able to use him much. And then Jordan Reed, if you started Jordan Reed on fantasy, you had a pretty good day. Jordan Reed, 8 receptions, 64 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Not that really the first touchdown mattered because that's when they were starting to get their mojo back and going. But then Carson Wentz went back and scored again, and that was pretty much it. But that second touchdown was pretty much garbage time. But that first touchdown was great. And both of them coming on slant routes. Jordan Reed is a complete mismatch, even on cornerbacks. That guy is just a complete beast. Josh Doxson, 3 receptions, 39 yards. Jamison Crowder, 2 for 28, had a really good 20-yard gain in the beginning of the game, but that was pretty much it. He was silent in this game. Terrell Pryor, 2 receptions, 14 yards. So the Philadelphia Eagles did a great job in containing this wide receiving core that can potentially be dangerous with Kirk Cousins throwing them the ball, and they did a great job holding that offense down. So you would have liked to seen Josh Doxson and Terrell Pryor get more looks, get more targets. I mean, Terrell Pryor was only targeted 4 times. Josh Doxson was only targeted 5. So, it is what it is. Chris Thompson, what I think is probably the best scat back in this league right now. Chris Thompson only had 26 yards on 5 receptions, was targeted 5 times, so he caught all of his targets. So there's that. For the Philadelphia Eagles, Zach Ertz leads the way for this team. 5 receptions, 89 yards, and a touchdown, completely beating out DJ Swearinger in this game. And DJ Swearinger is going to get that Terrance Mitchell award because he got beat for 2 touchdowns in this game. That's very sad in this depleted secondary for the Washington Redskins. You think about the Washington Redskins, I mean, you shouldn't believe you're coming in to win this game with Kendall Fuller and Quentin Dunbar as your starting cornerbacks. You cannot believe you're going to win this game, and I can't believe that Philadelphia let them hang around in this game as much as they did. I don't know what it is about the Redskins, but the Philadelphia Eagles just struggle with them. Sure, today, this year they swept them, but in the beginning of this game, it looked like a close game. It looked like it may go in Washington's favor as they led in the beginning of this game. 10-3. So the Eagles let them hang around as long as they did, but the Eagles are finally starting to beat out their rivals, Washington Redskins, and they're looking really good in the NFC East right now. Mac Hollins had himself a great touchdown. Only one catch, but it went for a touchdown, 64 yards, beating again DJ Swearinger. Nelson Aguilar looked really good in this game. Now, all of his receptions were bobbled. That is going to be a problem. If you Philadelphia fans are watching and you watch Nelson Aguilar, you got to be worried still. I know he's a great slot receiver. He's doing really good at the slot receiver position, but I mean, almost every single time he catches the ball, I mean, it's bobbled, it's juggled. He catches it on the second effort. That can be a problem because once teams start looking at that on tape, they're really going to put a target on him. When he's targeted with the ball, they're really going to lay the boom on him, make sure he doesn't come down with that ball. So that's going to stand out in the film room, but he has to get some better hands, man. I mean, as a wide receiver, you got to have some good hands, man, and he's not. He's barely catching on to these balls. The last touchdown he did for when the Philadelphia Eagles went up 31 to 17, I believe. When they went up 31 to 17, that last touchdown they scored, Nelson Aguilar was literally thanking Jesus he caught the ball. I mean, he caught the touchdown and didn't believe he caught that. He was like relieved that he caught the touchdown and was like, "Thank you, Jesus." I mean, that tells you right there that this guy knows he's not good at catching the ball. He really needs to get better at that. And Alshon Jeffrey only had 2 receptions for 37 yards, but had a great catch late in this game, just completely snatching it away from the Washington Redskins defender and moving the sticks. So good job, Alshon Jeffrey there. And then the rest of the people didn't really do much. The rest of the receivers didn't really do much. So go on to this game. Carson Wentz fumbled twice and was able to recover one of them, but Corey Clement recovered the other one. He has to get better with these fumbles, man. Even if it's if it's a handoff type thing. Carson Wentz had a problem with that in his rookie year. I believe he fumbled the ball 14 times. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe he fumbled the ball 14 times. That is a lot of fumbles. He has a problem with that. He has a problem with his grip. But hopefully he gets better at that because that can keep him back from becoming the quarterback he's always the quarterback that he's pretty much destined to be. He's going to be a great quarterback in this league, but let's hope those fumbles don't keep him back. And that may be, a reason why they lose these games. We go on to the defense. Zach Brown leads the way for the defense. Had himself a day. 13 tackles, 10 of them solo, 1.5 sacks, 4 tackles for loss. What? I mean, you look at the Giants. JPP is leading the team for the Giants with 4 tackles for loss. He had 4 tackles for loss alone in this game, so that's a great stat to have. And then 2 quarterback hits, so that's besides the sack. So he really got to the quarterback on blitzes. Zach Brown had himself a phenomenal game. He was everywhere on the field. Mason Foster also did a good job. 6 tackles, 1 of them solo. 6 tackles, 4 of them solo, and a half sack and 1 tackle for loss. We go on to the sacks in this game. Like I said, Zach Brown had 1.5 sacks. Ryan Kerrigan and Mason Foster shared a half sack. And Junior Gillette also got himself a half sack. So that totals 3 sacks on this Washington Redskins team. We go on to the Philadelphia Eagles. Malcolm Jenkins had himself a great game. Malcolm Jenkins really did. Another old man wonder Malcolm Jenkins is. 10 tackles, all 10 of them solo. Great job by him. 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss, and 1 quarterback hit. Great job by Malcolm Jenkins. Corey Graham, the one who had the interception in this game for the Philadelphia Eagles. 5 tackles, 5 of them solo, and 1 pass defense. How about Derek Barnett in this game? Had 2 sacks in this game. Was forcing pressure constantly whenever he had his name called. He's on the bottom of the rotation on this Philadelphia Eagles team and still is extremely productive. And what a pick Derek Barnett was for the Philadelphia Eagles. When all is said and done, this guy's going to be one of the great pass rushers in this league. I loved him coming out of Tennessee. I thought he was the most balanced defensive end in this draft, and he's definitely showing that now. I believe he has more sacks than Solomon Thomas right now, and Solomon Thomas is starting. Derek Barnett is not starting. I don't believe Derek Barnett. I think it's Chris Long and Brandon Graham starting at the defensive end spot. So, I mean, that shows you how good Derek Barnett is and how good this Philadelphia defensive line is and how they could rotate any of their guys and still get the same amount of production on this team. So, we go on to the players of the game. We go on to the offensive game MVP for the Philadelphia Eagles. As you guys know, goes to the winning team. The MVPs goes to. And it definitely goes to Carson Wentz, who had himself a phenomenal day. 17 of 25, very efficient. Only 8 incompletions. Only had to throw the ball 25 times and still threw for 4 touchdowns. I mean, sure, that interception was very bad. I mean, it was completely off target, but he really showed up in the second half and really stomped on the Washington Redskins defense, who are very depleted, and really took advantage there. We go on to the defensive MVP. Sorry about that. The defensive MVP is going to have to go to Malcolm Jenkins. He had himself a great day, had himself a sack, had himself 10 tackles. All of them were solo, had himself a quarterback hit, a tackle for loss. So great job by Malcolm Jenkins. It could have went to that whole Philadelphia defensive line because they did a good job getting pressure on Kirk Cousins. And also, I got to give love to Fletcher Cox, too. He also had a sack in this game. So 4 sacks total for the Philadelphia Eagles. We can't forget about Malcolm Jenkins as well. So, and then we go to the At Least You Tried award. I'm going to give the At Least You Tried award. I always give these awards to quarterbacks, so I'm going to change it up a little bit. I'm going to give it to Jordan Reed. He did himself a very good job in this game. Vernon Davis probably looks like just as good as him, but Jordan Reed had himself 2 touchdowns. So then we go to the Terrance Mitchell Award, and that was definitely DJ Swearinger. Probably should have gone to the whole Washington Redskins secondary, but DJ Swearinger gave up 2 touchdowns, in which, I mean, had no chance. I mean, he was guarding Zach Ertz and couldn't stop him. Zach Ertz broke his ankles. That's sad. Zach Ertz broke his ankles on a flat route and completely got beat by Mac Hollins in the first half. So DJ Swearinger, you deserve that award. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. The Philadelphia Eagles are 6-1. They're flying high, and they're looking like the favorites to win the division. That's fine with me because as long as the Dallas Cowboys don't win the division or make the playoffs, I am okay because the Giants have no chance. So Philadelphia Eagles 6-1. They could easily be 7-0 if they came back and beat Kansas City, which they almost did. So I mean, they're the best team in the NFL right now, in my opinion. Are they the best team in the NFL? I don't know, because the Kansas City Chiefs lost to Pittsburgh and Oakland. I don't know what I would. I'm leaning towards the Philadelphia Eagles, but yeah, I'm probably gonna have to say the Philadelphia Eagles. They're the best team in the NFL right now, and nobody expected that. I mean, I know a lot of people were saying 10-6. I said 8-8 because I thought maybe the Philadelphia Eagles would be the Philadelphia Eagles, and they would start off strong, but kind of finish slowly like they did last year. I chose them to go 8-8, but they're proving everybody wrong, even their own fans, and maybe even themselves. And they're looking like the favorite to win the NFC right now. They're looking like the first seed in the NFC right now. Green Bay can't contend. Aaron Rodgers is out, so they have the torch in the NFC as of right now. They have the torch in the whole NFL right now. They have the best record in the NFL as of right now. They're the only team with 1 loss. So great job by the Philadelphia Eagles. Let's go on to who these teams play next. And the Washington Redskins, they're not out of the NFC East race yet. They're only 3 games behind the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't think they're catching them, but they can contend for a wild card spot. And they have been known to defeat some good teams. We thought the Los Angeles Rams win was not much of a big deal, but we see what the Rams are now, and it's kind of impressive that the Washington Redskins pulled that one out. So they're still in contention to get a wild card spot. They beat the Oakland Raiders in a blowout fashion. So you gotta like the Washington Redskins as well. They fought hard in this game, but the injuries on the defense really didn't help them at all. The Philadelphia Eagles go on to face the 49ers at home. So It's hard enough to play at not Century Link Field, Lincoln Financial Field. Hard enough to play there, and the 49ers, winless team, are coming to town. So that should be a win for the Philadelphia Eagles. And the Washington Redskins are going to face the Cowboys at home. So we'll see how that turns out. Those teams usually split, so we'll see what happens there. But yeah, great NFC East matchup, great Monday Night Football game. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.